Welcome everyone to the 6th episode of the Experiment Floor. Today, as part of our 6th examination episode, we will be joined by Chief Engineer Ero as we examine the combat and field characteristics of the long beam, charge beam, and diffusion beam. The long beam is a weapon of chosen design and is considered to be so basic and universal in its construction application that it often becomes fully integrated into an arm cannon or similar device the moment it is acquired and applied to a standard weapon system. For the standard Chozo power beam, the simplest models may serve as an effective point-blank offensive weapon to dispatch mighty creatures that come within range of the user, but these base models are held back in that they are not able to fully route the power they need to keep the projectiles stable as they are fired from an arm cannon. As such, normally, these energy shots can only stay as a stable bundle of damaging energy for a short period of time. If they are allowed to travel for too long, the light energy bundle comprised them destabilizes and the shot completely disperses, negating any damage potential it might otherwise deal. As such, the long beam is effectively an energy stabilizer that helps to concentrate further energy inside of the arm cannon's firing chamber to not only increase the power of a shot from any beam weapon, but, more importantly, generate a projectile with greater constitution that does not quickly disperse on its own after firing, only when it strikes an object directly, and thus extends the firing range of the shot to an extreme degree before it fully destabilizes on its own. In essence, with this upgrade installed, the overall damaging power of any beam weapon equipped with this additive will be slightly increased, and will have the range for its projectiles extended to the utmost, so they only visibly vanish after they strike an object or creature.
This kind of upgrade is honestly so simplistic that I can't understand how the hell the Chozo wouldn't have it just made standard for all types of beam weaponry with their mug stamped on it from the get-go, so to speak. Hell, we have this kind of thing as a standard attribute to all of our weapons. I get that it's really not that common of an upgrade, and would be made standard later down the line, but still, this is such a no-brainer that even covering this weapon is a waste of my time.
The charge beam is a weapon of Chozo design and is considered to be basic enough and nearly universal in its construction application that it often becomes fully integrated into an arm cannon or cylinder device the moment it is acquired and applied to a standard weapon system, unless it is manually removed from said weapon system. The charge beam is a unique upgrade that acts less like a weapon of its own in most cases, and more an additive to any type of beam weapon that, as its namesake might suggest, allows the possessor to actually charge up energy in the weapon system to fire off a more powerful energy-based projectile of some sort. The manner in which this occurs depends heavily on the type of beam that is being combined with, and thus the mechanics of each individual alteration are best covered within data files on other types of beam weapons. But in its simplest iteration, namely the charge beam function node with the standard power beam, holding down the trigger for the weapon but not letting go will allow the possessor to gather the light energy used in that weapon normally and concentrate and focus it into a much larger, more powerful projectile that does immense damage to anything it touches, even being energetic enough to bypass the armored hides of some creatures to deal immense indirect damage to them when an explosive weapon like a missile might otherwise be needed to inflict harm. It is also noted that, in the case of the original version of the fusion suit, the Hunter's standard power beam temporarily changed form when the charge beam was restored to it, creating a thick arrow-shaped red shot with slightly more power to it than normal. When the user charges up energy by holding down the trigger for their equipped beam weapon system after this upgrade is added to the systems, as noted before, they can fire out a stronger energy projectile that can deal much more damage than normal and bypass some types of armor to inflict damage as well. This, however, is only the beginning of the versatility the charge beam brings to one's overall weapon repertoire. When the possessor charges up a shot, the body becomes slightly energized from the arm cannon, and the energy shield temporarily enters an aggressive state, where direct contact can cause the charged energy to explode outward from the arm cannon. As such, if they somersault into an enemy while fully charged, they can use a pseudo-screw attack to release the charged beam shot onto them at the moment of impact, though doing so will still count towards contact damage against the suit's energy shielding if it does not destroy the target. Similarly, the charge beam in conjunction with concussive weapon systems when fighting against larval Metroids can be used to perform an overblast of time properly, which allows the possessor to jump onto an enemy and blast him with a supercharged shot that can deal massive damage, provided that the target doesn't shake them up before the attack can be made, as well as a lethal strike, which generally involves blasting a target in its most vulnerable body part, usually the head, at point-blank range. In some cases, if morph ball bombs are accessible and the possessor charges up a shot fully and then enters morph ball form, they can lay 5 morph ball bombs automatically, though this does not work with all types of armor suits. If the possessor only has a single beam type equipped aside from the power beam and enters morph ball form while having the suit ready to launch a power bomb, the item will detonate and gain unique elemental features that are associated with the properties of the equipped beam weapon. Most importantly though, if the possessor uses the charge beam to charge up a shot with a beam weapon that cannot be stacked and presses the command trigger for the missile launcher instead of releasing the shot, The result will be a charge combo that can deal massive damage to a target with differing properties depending upon the beam weapon equipped. The time it takes to charge up a charged beam shot can be decreased by adding accel charges to the weapon, increasing the energy generation rate the arm cannon is installed into. And it is lastly noted that the charge beam's energy charging systems have the effect of creating a polarity field of sorts when it is active that can attract energy and ammunition pickups, making it the perfect way to gather supplies from afar if one cannot safely get close to them.
While this weapon isn't exactly as simple as a long beam might be, it's also a hell of a lot more useful. It can actually get shit done when you need to conserve on explosive ammunition. The sheer power of a charge shot alone can make it a great weapon to fire, but given that certain weapons can also create added effects when fully charged, just makes it that much more beneficial to hunt for if you have the chance. Sure, you do have that window to wait for until it's fully ready to go. With the right equipment, you can fire that thing off pretty damn quickly and make a name for yourself out of it. Kinda wonder sometimes why we didn't invest in this kind of tech, but then again, we're not exactly prone to surviving most encounters with bounty hunters, so guess it wasn't exactly high on the priority list of the old science team.
The Diffusion Beam is a rare beam weapon that was originally developed by the Chozo for use in battle against enemies, but it is known that it has been reverse engineered and installed in some drones used by the Galactic Federation aboard military and research vessels. The Diffusion Beam is an upgrade that, on paper, might not seem like it would be beneficial, but has many great uses when equipped to the right sort of charge beam. In essence, when a charge shot is prepared on a standard arm cannon, this addition causes the charge function of the weapon to charge into an overdrive state of sorts, creating a charged energy projectile that is so unstable that it is prone to sudden and violent degeneration the moment it is fired and comes into contact with a hard surface, in turn causing the projectile to burst open like a bomb and disperse its energetic payload over a wider field of effect. Because the charged beam shot from this weapon disperses this damaging field over a wider area, it can destroy large swaths of weaker enemies in an instant and spread damage across multiple targets to make it an effective weapon for handling and dispersing large crowds of potential threats. At the same time, this energy dispersal also allows the charged beam shot to penetrate deeper into a solid surface with this energy payload, and so making it possible to destroy objects that might be embedded into a surface more deeply than just the surface itself, potentially opening up new pathways for travel in the process.
I mean, what you see is what you get, I suppose. There really isn't a whole lot that I can say here that's much different from what you might be expecting to hear about standard charged beam shots. But at the very least, I do like this spread effect, since it's great for taking out masses once at once, and has great horizontal range to it. I'd swear by it. Honestly, I do. I reverse engineered this one, and actually made something like it for myself. Bet you didn't know I could do that, did you? I've made a lot of the weapons we use around here, to be honest. Might as well be creative with how I use my engineering skills. Federation ain't the only ones that can pull that shit, so if you need something made, then feel free to run by me sometime.
Thank you for attending this presentation on the experiment floor. While sometimes the beam weapons can be quite flashy and brilliant, sometimes a bit of extra power is all that is needed to make a massive impact that can leave lesser foes running scared from you. Just have a bit of patience if you want to make the most of this kind of tech, as you won't get the full benefits of their power unless you can hold your aim steady for a few moments. Thank you all for watching this video. We here at Space Pirate Science Team take our work very seriously, and we genuinely wish to be as informative as possible when it comes to the work we conduct here, for both ourselves and in the name of science. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and comment to help us get greater recognition out there to inform the greater populace of the universe as a whole. Also, feel free to keep track of us through Twitter, as we'll be posting notices there every time something new is submitted for your viewing pleasure. We hope to see you all in the next video, no matter what world it may take us to.